My content is for 13 and up or adult collectors of the product. Hello everyone! So we've got some pretty cool news. So this will be the last video on BU unless there's anything that is actually new, but they finally dropped a video showing off Divine Belial with a closer look. So in this video I'm going to be covering anything else extra, or just really going over what the video has and just giving my thoughts. That being said, if you are new here, subscribe to the channel with bell notifications on and comment your thoughts. Let's try to get this video past 100 comments, and please, please, please subscribe. Anyways, let's get started. So obviously, BU, now to really explain to those that don't really understand, I've done a whole video on it, but just the short and sweet of it, BU is just a continuation of Dynamite Battle, but oh, it's a little special now. So first of all, I gotta say that the closer look on Divine Belial, it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty cool. I'm still not a fan of a chip. You know, the chip's whatever. I like the color choice. I don't like the paint, if that makes a lot of sense. We're gonna go over it, but I'm kind of excited for this release. Mostly just because of the fact that it's like, it is new content. So they obviously do a little side-by-side with the original Dynamite, and we've already gotten so much of a side profile on this thing. I do think this is probably going to be heavier than Dangerous because of the metal weighting on it and everything. I don't think guilty weights, but yeah, they show a little... We get here. They obviously go over the whole, like, part by part, but, you know, we already know this stuff. And... No, I mean... It's still weird to me because like 3 Nexus are repeated, but yeah. They show a closer look at the driver there, which I will be covering my thoughts after and explain the difference between adventure and venture. Now if you've noticed, and I will be covering this a little bit afterwards, if you notice on the actual thing, alright, you'll see that there are the slots. But what are those slots for? For the gear. Because it's cross-compatible with the other gears, and I'm going to explain it more. The confusing thing is that they've done this. Someone's got to remind me in the comments, what armor was it? I don't remember which one. I just know not too long ago that, not the gold ultimate and the black ultimate, but what armor did we get where they just decided not to throw anything else? I think it was Prominence. Yeah, it was Prominence, actually. They go side by side with the Belial chip. So to basically explain how good Belial 2 is, Belial 2 I would say is like the best right spin, the best consistent right spin stamina core, because obviously there is Valkyrie 1. I just say the best just because there's like the burst stopper there, and that is like a fact, but you could also make the argument for Valkyrie 1. So then after, my counterpoint to that would just be that the teeth don't wear like thin paper like Valkyrie 1 is. I don't like Valkyrie 1. It's a very top tier right core, it's just it wears too fast, so that's why I like Belial 2. So obviously the burst stopper pops out. I would say the burst stopper honestly is effective through the matches I've done in videos and through tournaments. I do think that this thing does actually work. When they go over the Divine Blade is obviously metal mounted, and it is a little bit of a round shape, but not really that round, but it's rounder than Dangerous, so anything that's rounder than Dangerous is already a good sign. Because Dangerous, if you look at the shape, it was very weird, and like it had like those random like wings extend out, and it's what really hurt Dangerous. So I do think Divine actually has some potential here. I've just mentioned the metal weighting. Again, the high, even with the high mode, just... They couldn't do stickers on the 3? Like, come on. I have to see. I'll probably, you know what I'm going to give it? I have to find, probably give it the Fafnir 3. If I have spare, and just there so the orange matches, just because. The high mode obviously will always look very cursed, and I don't know how I feel about it. But, yeah. So now with Venture and Adventure. So the biggest difference here is, oh, first of all, the slots is the exact same. So if you want to put V gear on Adventure, you can. If you want to put whatever the gear is called for the performance tip that's for this one, you can also put the same on the original Venture. So yes, it is cross-compatible with each other. So if you wanted to use the new one, you can. If you want to use the older one, you can. Now the biggest difference is that the little claw thing is a lot more exposed. because it's just bigger and everything. The original little claw, little stubby things, they were like a lot smaller and more round, but these are like bigger claws and everything. And the craziest thing too is that the rubber actually retracts back. And I think we've talked about it, but to really see it kind of gives you the idea, so it kind of gets pushed there. So it makes this a little bit interesting to me, is that I do think maybe this will work a little bit more than Venture. So the idea with Venture's gimmick and with this is that the rubber is supposed to touch on the stadium and it is supposed to accelerate. Do I think it's going to work 100%? No. Do I think eventually when the rubber will wear from use, will it be that effective? Probably not. Could it maybe be at least more useful in Venture? Who knows? Maybe better at attack, I would say. I don't know. Venture to me never felt like an attack performance tip. To me, it felt more like a balance type performance tip, like Unite, since it's really the same principle of like coated rubber in the middle, plastic. So I hope it's good. So afterwards, they do show off the battle with Ultimate, but yeah, just to cover, because I had this picture here. Like I said, there were the slots for the gear, which obviously would mean the F in the new gear. The performance tip, the same thing. Nexus, we already know, is the same thing. So that means with your All Might, your Devil, your Dangerous, your Dynamite, all of them work together. So in a way, I do kind of like this, because it would be kind of, you know, upsetting if when they actually did the release, the gears that you spent all the time collecting, whatever, you know, and then after they just make it like no purpose, right? So at the very least, not only does the new stuff work with the old stuff, but the old stuff also works with, you get what I mean, right? So I think that is pretty good. And this also gives the potential for a lot of combinations like F gear and the new disc gear. And I'm very curious to see if it does change anything. I'm very curious on this. So they do a battle with Ultimate Valkyrie. Now, if this will surprise you, obviously the matches are rigged for the new release. It's always going to be rigged for the new release. They will have Ragnarok burst very easily if they want to, which obviously Ragnarok is like their punching bag. They don't want to have stuff like Savior or Astral. The reason why, right, is that Spriggan and Valkyrie are very popular and they need to sell them, so they'll kind of pick and choose in times when they want to showcase the release for how well it does. In this case, I think we've already also seen this, I think on some Twitter video, whatever. They'll pick Ultimate, because Ultimate's like the recent one, so sometimes they'll do an old one, or they do... Listen, it's either they did a lot of rounds and they just luckily got that one result, or they just, I don't know, like shaved the teeth or something. So in the battle, the movement to me did not seem that different from like Venture normally. I know I've seen like the video where it kind of, I think they had like some video or whatever where it kind of accelerates, but I don't see that much of a difference. I really don't. And then after, obviously, oh surprise, a little tap and oh, the burst. So I'm really hoping for the best for this, which to be honest is literally every single time we see a release. I hope it's good. It doesn't really have that much negative going for it. It's just whether or not you want to pass on it. But with that beautiful segue, I'm going to play the advertisement for our store. Before we end off, I would like to mention that we actually have a store where we are having a pre-order for the up-and-coming Divine Belial. So if you are new here, please check out our store. We are accepting pre-orders. And as well, we have other releases on our store, like Sparking, Dynamite Battle, other stuff. So check out our store if you're able to. It's an optional way to support the channel. We appreciate your support regardless, and thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I'll conclude. And that is where I'm going to be ending off this video. So Divine Belial is a very curious release. I think, obviously, well, the chip is good, and then after Nexus, you just use with the upgrade, whatever. For the parts of Divine and Adventure, what do you think of it? Do you think maybe some meta use? I think maybe Divine could be better than Dynamite F. Maybe. It depends how round it is, and it depends how F here kind of fills it. I don't like the side view, so I'm probably a little too positive. At the very least, the performance tip, right? Also, that means I get to do like multiple perfect Belial videos, because I have to do the perfect with the old gears on Divine, and then after I would have to do Dynamite and then Devil and Dangerous with the new ones at the end, so that'll be very funny. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Again, subscribe before you leave this channel. It's greatly appreciated, and have an amazing day, and bye. That'll be it for now.